It's our mid-May upcoming indies update, and we've got plenty to talk about. Also, for regulars on the channel, obviously this isn't my typical show, but now I am everyone and everywhere all at once. Before we get to the upcoming indies, it's sponsor time! And this week's episode is sponsored by Little Postman from Atlas Imaginal. Little Postman is a puzzle game where you rotate islands to find your way around different archipelagos. You play a little postman, cue credits, exploring different islands by moving safely tile by tile in a grid-based environment, and finding magical triggers that allow you to rotate these small islands. Through modifying the landscape, you can create a path towards the end of each level and give letters to the island's inhabitants. This game focuses on its unique mechanic of turning blocks of the environment to solve each level's puzzle, with each of the 9 levels exploring the potential of this idea. So, what happens if several islands rotate together around the same pivot point? And how can this mechanic be used vertically with a variety of floors? These are all important questions you shall ask yourself while playing Little Postman. Give in and enjoy this concise indie puzzler that's intentionally short, where you can complete it within half an hour. The short nature of the game is tied to its simple puzzle design, as the game's focus is on exploring the possibilities of the island rotation mechanic. Little Postman is largely inspired by the aesthetics and minimalist gameplay of renowned games like Monument Valley or Carto. Atlas Imaginal is the studio of this solo game dev, and Little Postman serves as practice for learning how to communicate to players simple game mechanics in a non-verbal fashion. At the low cost of free, with options to play on PC with an Xbox controller, this indie is an easy choice to try out and leave some feedback for the developer. Thank you again to Little Postman and Atlas Imaginal for sponsoring this video, and for our indie puzzle fans, see what fun you can have in this short but thoughtful experience. Voice to the voiceless ones in gaming. Alright, to start off the upcoming indie information, I feel like I've heard about this game for months, and now it's finally on the precipice of release. This is Tin Hearts, a narrative puzzle adventure where you guide a troop of tin soldiers through a magical toy-filled world. Solve over 50 puzzling levels that involve bending time, routing your soldiers to solve riddles, and creating new paths using the many whimsical contraptions that can bounce, shoot, and glide your tin soldiers to victory. And in the backdrop is a story about love and compromise that's lovingly voiced and animated. For a lighthearted, family-friendly experience on PC or just about any major console, check out Tin Hearts. For some online co-op fun, Starship Troopers Extermination is a sci-fi action FPS that has you killing bugs like the best of them. Prepare to defeat the bug invasion in fights of up to 16 players and squads of 4. Defend your base, gather resources, complete objectives, and annihilate every bug in sight. And maybe start at my place first, cause my neighbors are gross. Choose between 3 playable classes, unlock gear and perks, spill the guts of a variety of bugs, and ping your friends when they start to swarm. Will you be joining the elite Deep Space Vanguard troopers? Also, that title kind of reminds me of every joke about Hispanics having super long names of like Pablo Francisco Juan de la Cruz Montaña Acere. I think they took that name a little too far, you know? This third game is one I'm familiar with, after dying in many unique ways while playing the demo on stream, and that's Greedventory. Greedventory is an action RPG coded in some of the best pixel art you've seen in not just an indie game, but any video game. Your bucket-clad hero must click to survive an onslaught of attacks, with each strike, parry, and cast of spells at your fingertips. Reflexes and Souls-like difficulty are the name of the game, if the design of our protagonist didn't already clue you in. Embrace the beautiful suffering in this awesome indie that, while not my taste, I can admire respectfully from a distance, like I do to your dad. Tower defense games don't get enough love, so let's love on this next indie, and that's Castle of Alchemists. This strategy indie offers hybrid gameplay, switching between tower defense and dungeon crawling action as you defend with turrets and your fists. We play as the alchemically enhanced warrior Bellator, who has the unenviable task of fending off waves of foes. Change up your many options in weapons and defensive contraptions as well as your stats in the various regions of the game, like the fiery forges or the golem-riddled mine. Learn to synergize your abilities and traps for the ultimate castle-alone slaying experience, which I look forward to testing out myself. Survival horror fans, the time is almost upon us. That's right. The Outlast Trials releases in a little over a week, so get ready to fight to survive the inhumane experiments, but this time with the option of friends. Play either solo or online co-op in these fiendish trials, with teams of up to 4 players. And you can expect Outlast's core gameplay of avoiding enemies, hiding where possible, and running when you have no choice left. Use tools to increase your odds of collecting evidence about the unethical experiments being performed, and then exposing the truth to the world. Or die at the hands of a pantless prisoner. It's a coin toss. Classic search and destroy mode has been modernized in Veiled Experts. This free-to-play game releases on the 18th for early access and offers online co-op shooter fun. Blow up vehicles, buildings, ships, and just about everything in your surroundings as you hunt down enemies, clearing the path or catching them in the explosion. With promises like no camping, unrestricted action, and a variety of playstyles, this indie wants to be a landmark of the genre. I'm personally quite excited for this upcoming indie after playing the demo, and that's Pocket Mirror, a horror adventure RPG with exquisite pixel art. In this surreal indie adventure game, you play as an amnesiac, a young girl with just a pocket mirror to her name. Your character wakes up in an empty and eerie mansion, and must solve a variety of puzzles in order to uncover her memories, as well as the truth about the strange forces trapping her there. With such stunning visuals and a gameplay style that definitely intrigues me, I will look forward to this game dropping on May 18th. So, toilet racing is a thing. The Japanese have done it again, and now we can experience the thrill of steering a toilet on the road with a Nintendo Switch. This is Gekisou Benza Race Toilet Shooting Star. The shooting star I assume to be the poop you drop into the toilet as fuel for your bathroom-based racing. If you understand anything that's going on in this very memey game trailer, leave a comment below. Otherwise, let's clench our cheeks in anticipation for the chance to shit our way across the finish line. Another upcoming Switch release is Under the Warehouse, an adventure and puzzle walking sim. After receiving a mysterious call, you embark on a surreal journey to find a colorful egg in a sprawling warehouse. All the while, meet workers, collect items, and solve puzzles. So, like a sad capitalist Easter egg hunt. Although, aren't they all like that? This game doesn't label itself as horror, but it's definitely given the vibes. And I'd be a liar if I said I wasn't intrigued. Rounding up our Switch releases is Terracotta, a story-rich puzzle adventure game where you play as a terracotta warrior. Bound to protect the Emperor in the afterlife, you must work your way through more than 80 levels and 8 bosses. The combat places an emphasis on defeating enemies using speed and agility, and the boss battles require mastery of the 9 faces of Qi. And that's not even mentioning the gorgeous traditional Chinese painting art style. With positive reception on Steam, our Switch-owning community should consider giving this indie a try. To finish our list, we have Last Holiday, a life sim where a boy seeks refuge from his furious father after failing his high school exams. F sounds. He ends up in what the game calls a bohemian village, where he must now take care of his needs like food, water, cigarettes, beer, girls, and more. Let me read you a choice line from the Steam page. Gradually, Ben and his friend Slavek will find ways to make their way in the harsh countryside, earning slag and securing the respect of more than just sluts. Wee-oo. Sorry about that, y'all. That's just my little dick alarm. It goes off whenever I see or hear or read something that exudes little dick energy. And this description definitely does. Well, that was your upcoming indie games for this week. All but one have the potential to be hits. So let me know in the comments which games caught your eye.